And here's one last video, at least for today, on managing triggers and intrusive thoughts after infidelity. This is part 4. So in part 1, we were talking about, making friends, or at least making peace with the intrusive thoughts. In part 2, we talked about scheduling time to work with the intrusive thoughts and what you should think about to work with them. In part 3, we talked about how to cope with triggers and intrusive thoughts that just randomly will crop up and haunt you. Now, let's talk about an advanced technique, what you should do to go even deeper if you have resistant triggers and intrusive thoughts, things that you've explored, you've thought about, you've tried to work with, and they just won't go away. So there is a technique that I have in my book that I want to share with you, and it's I call it the memory eraser exercise in the book. It's chapter 5, section 6. You can also go to my website and get a free copy of it. So just go to the site, and in the search bar, you're going to type memory eraser exercise, and that will bring up the exercise because it's complicated. There's a few steps to go through, and you need guidance for each of those steps, and it's too complicated to put into a TikTok. So go check it out or find that section of the book because it's essentially a DIY, a do-it-yourself EMDR video. If you haven't heard of EMDR before, it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. It's a technique that we use to help people who have PTSD and trauma. It's been widely studied and is highly effective for many, many people. It's not effective for everybody, but it's very powerful. It's scientifically based and studied. So I want you to give it a try. If it doesn't work for you, that's fine. And if it does work for you, I really want to encourage you to connect with a practitioner who can help guide you through more advanced versions of an exercise like this. So it works by stimulating both sides of your brain at the same time you're recalling a painful memory. And it essentially helps soften that memory by filing it into part of your brain where it's supposed to be. That is a gross simplification, and many people could explain it to you better than that, but it's very helpful. So one of my colleagues, Dr. Teralyn, does virtual EMDR. I'm going to tag her in this video. I don't think she treats everyone in every state, but please reach out to her and she can help you. You can also find an EMDR practitioner by going to the EMDR International Association website, which is emdria.org. So you can find somebody close to you that you could meet with and talk to and do more with this. I did want to say something about healing from trauma and triggers. Some people think that if you've been traumatized, you're absolutely completely in control of that trauma and you can heal from it when you want to and if you want to. I so wish that was the case, but it's not true. We've all heard stories of soldiers who've come back from war or kids who've been in a war zone who have trauma and they're haunted by this and they want more than anything to get over this, but they can't. So please don't think it's just an easy thing to get over trauma. It's something some people spend their entire life doing. I hope that won't be the case for you, but if you are struggling with trauma and you find that you're really having a hard time healing, know that that's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong. Trauma changes your brain, how it works, how things are structured, how you think. It changes your body. The impacts of trauma are profound. So you're not to blame if you're not healing from trauma. Trauma is profoundly impactful. So please reach out to a professional for help if you find yourself struggling to heal from trauma. There's tons of things we can do to help you. There's cutting edge research that's being done now on the use of psychedelics for healing trauma, and that looks super promising. So trauma is not your fault. It's not your fault if you can't heal. keep exploring for more options, healing options. There's a ton out there. I hope you'll give all of these techniques a try for healing from your intrusive thoughts and triggers, and that you will keep me posted on how you're doing, because I will be thinking about you and pulling for you and sending you my biggest hugs.